As the cliche goes, April showers bring May flowers. But usually what comes after is the heat and dryness of summer. Hello again, Essay here. And before the hot weather of the holiday shows up, you should indulge in my new short story, The White Cat, a free exclusive on Substack. The links are down below in description. Join Margot Thompson, a beautiful stage actress and recent widow who finds salvation in the form of a white cat during a night of terror. While checking out my oddball thriller, remember that my Glitch series is still available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The links are down below in the description. While you'll find my peculiar story about a white pussy entertaining, that doesn't mean I'm out of ideas. I still have more stories coming down the pike, so as long as I don't run into any mishaps, you'll see those stories as well. Now let's get back to the video.
Hi! Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turned
Well, again, Essay here. You're familiar with the phrase, a snake eating its own tail? Well, I heard the phrase long ago, didn't quite understand what it meant. But it loosely means that when an institution or organization eats its own, thus the metaphor of a snake eating its own tail. And of course, you say, well, how does that work in practicalities? Well, it doesn't actually. Because, for example, during the purges in both Stalinist Russia and Maoist China, you saw multiple examples of how the damn people in charge would go after those amongst their own ranks. You know, like Stalin's show trials or the damn Cultural Revolution in China. Yeah, most of the victims in those two instances were actually people who were members of the Communist Party. And of course, in Germany in the 1930s, they had an incident called the Night of the Long Knives. And of course, some of you saying, oh, that's an old AC/DC song. Yeah, I know. But where do you think Angus and the boys got that title from? Yeah, there was an incident that happened, I think middle 1930s, when old Mr. Brush Mustache himself and a lot of his homies in the SS decided they didn't need the people in the SA anymore. You know, the brown shirts. So what they did was, in the middle of the night, they went out and rounded up pretty much the entire leadership of the brown shirts, gave them a quick trial and a quicker hanging. Why? That's a very good question. Of course, at the time, the presumption was there was a power struggle going on inside the Nazi Party. And the presumption was that old Mr. Brush Mustache decided that he didn't like the fact that these people who, remember, they all were part of the original, what was called the Munich, the failed Munich coup that happened back in the 1920s. Yeah, all these people in the Nazi hierarchy all basically were in the on the what they call on the damn front lines during that failed coup attempt. So they should have been all bros, right? Apparently not. And then, of course, it came out afterwards, the night of long knives, that the leader of the SA was a closet homosexual. Now, personally, I think that old Mr. Brush Mustache probably didn't know that ahead of time. I think they found that out afterwards. So there you go. But the thing is, that sort of thing hasn't stopped happening. Now, right now, I'm going to show you a video by that big boy, a Journey from the Quartering. And he's going to show another example of how institution, or I should say a group of people, basically attacked one of their own. And believe me, you're probably going to laugh out loud, because they do it for the most almost non-ideological reason. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
So everyone, Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's finally happened. It's finally happened. The left has turned on Dylan Mulvaney. I knew the day was going to come, because this whole LARP, what many believe, what many women call woman face, could only last so long. And when you court the woke left, you must constantly adhere yourself to their ever more radical demands. It creates this loop that you will just simply never be woke enough for them. You will never succeed at pleasing them, because they continue to go further and further and further to the left. There was a phenomenon going on this weekend on TikTok where millions of people were lambasting Dylan Mulvaney. It would appear that the Dylan Mulvaney ride is over, as it appears Dylan has lost nearly 1 million followers already, and the world has largely tuned out. Let's look at the analytics first, because I know you all love analytics like I do. Here is the follower count for Dylan Mulvaney. You can see this individual was completely irrelevant for most of their career until February 2022, when they started their I Want to Be a Woman campaign, and gained about 10 million followers in 5 months. Incredible. I'll never have 10 million followers on any platform. That's incredible. But then what happened? It went away. The world tuned out. By July, I mean, still gaining pretty good, 600,000. But now let's go to 2024. Late 2023. April, back April, May is when they had the Bud Light promotion. June, lost 100,000. July, gained none. August, another 100,000 lost. September, lost 100,000. October, didn't lose any, but didn't gain any. November 2023, lost 100,000. January, minus 100,000. March, minus 200,000. May, minus 200,000. And June has already lost another 100,000. Dylan Mulvaney has lost 1 million followers in the last couple months, over 10%. And by the way, here's another interesting thing to look at, not just followers, interactions. This is somebody who was getting millions of likes, 59 million likes in the month of June, down to 800,000 in May. Now, 800,000 likes is a lot. That's still a decent amount of views. But from 60 million to 800,000, that's about, an 85% drop. This is somebody who has completely stopped making videos. They used to make 30, 40 videos, about a video a day, right? 20, 30, video every other day, video every workday. In May, they made 2 videos. Like, it is completely collapsed for Dylan Mulvaney. And now you have this. Dylan Mulvaney is getting slammed on TikTok. By his own base, this video got 1.5 million likes. The left's infighting is magnificent. This is a video from @Kimberly Offline.
Everyone is finally canceling Dylan Mulvaney. Fucking finally. I have been trying to tell
Pardon
you
my
guys about
language.
this cousin for the longest time, but whenever I say it, I get labeled as a certain word that I can't say on this app. Everyone is calling Dylan Mulvaney a massive hypocrite.
I believe the word that this individual is referring to is transphobic. I'm guessing. I don't know that answer, but I'm guessing that's what it is.
Now that I know, people are finding it very suspicious that this woman right here has grown her
The
entire
biological
account
man.
based off of promoting women's rights, saying the significance of women, how important women are for her, and of course, recognizing the struggles that women have to go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
She's actually won, I swear, Woman of the Year for this. However, when it comes to speaking about the women in Palestine who are having to use sex scraps because their periods are coming, or the women in Congo who are aggressively and systematically getting raped, she's quiet. She's silent. It's crickets even. People are recognizing that it's women that got this woman to this place to begin with. But however, when it comes to addressing issues that affect women within the diaspora, she's conveniently quiet. Yeah.
1.5 million likes. I mean, that's, a Kimberly Offline spelt wrong, I would say. If I look up this person's Kimberly Offline TikTok, I think this is them. Looks like it. If I could find this video, I'm not sure how old or how often they upload, but it would appear that if you aren't speaking about, like I said, always, constantly, about the left's newest purse puppy, the left's newest, here it is, 10.5 million views. And ever since this video, by the way, they've been, losing tons of followers. If you look at some of the comments, this one has 46,000 likes. Dylan Mulvaney, they could never make me like you. And no, it has nothing to do with your gender identity. Wrong. I bet you it does. What are these comments? How are people so blind? Dylan has been the personification of misogyny from the start. 11,000 likes. I've been saying this for years. 47,000 likes. I noticed Dylan hasn't been posting as frequently in general too. Like their last video on here was nearly a month ago. I did not know this. Oh, I'm shocked. I never knew. Thank you for speaking on it. What exactly do they want Dylan Mulvaney to do? They want Dylan Mulvaney to talk about women in the Congo? I don't really understand how that's supposed to be their job. And then this, more angry. Here's an angry lesbian. This message from an angry lesbian to Dylan Mulvaney. They want Dylan to speak about Israel-Palestine and thinks the fact that Dylan hasn't publicly addressed it is an abomination.
It's more important. If you're not Dylan, feel free to stick around. I've never really had faith in celebrities speaking on important things, especially when it comes to oppressed groups of people and us common folks. But
yeah, right. Are you serious? You haven't had faith in Hollywood virtue signaling? Have you even turned on the internet? Have you watched an award show? That's all they do.
I had faith in you, and I'm talking a lot of faith. You've gotten to where you are in your life and your career because of millions of people like me. Now, I can only speak for myself, but Dylan, I stood 10 toes to the ground for you. Not because you're trans, and not because we're part of the same community.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. This is what the left does. They will promote you. They will make you famous. But if you don't follow the line right down to the very, very perfect and ever-changing level that they want, they will take it all away from you. I mean, Angry Joe's experienced this. Every time the left knows that they can control you, they will control you with fame. They will bombard you with all sorts of awesome things like millions of Twitter followers or millions of TikTok followers. But the second you don't speak on, and by the way, if I can, if we could be real for a minute, if I can actually defend Dylan here for a moment, let me be clear. These weirdos that are canceling Dylan don't want them to speak on Israel-Palestine. They want them to agree with them and speak specifically in the defense of Palestine. This is an opinion that I've, it's always a hot button issue even when I bring it up on my channel, and I say I don't want any part of it. I'm an American. I don't know anybody who lives in Palestine. I don't know anybody that lives in Israel. I don't want any part of it. I wish they would just get along. They could figure it out, but it's not my problem.
But because you are a human, for the last 2 years, I've tried educating people on normalizing differences. Because you as a human deserve to live your life as the person you are. The person you are. Apparently, none of us knew who that person was. Your silence and refusal to speak on what's happening has truly been heartbreaking.
Why? What do you think that Dylan Mulvaney, who walks around all day pretending, experiencing 365 days of girlhood to enrich themselves, do you think that Dylan Mulvaney would have something poignant to say about Israel-Palestine? I don't. I don't pretend to. Leave each other alone. That would be great. If you can't do that, well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. I live in America. I don't know the specifics of it, but I don't want my American dollars going there. I know that much.
Multiple times a day, I go to your account hoping that you just talk and speak on this.
Why? Why are you so fragile? Why do you need Dylan Mulvaney to affirm your political ideology? And what's wild is like, Dylan Mulvaney is like completely gone. Like, losing millions of followers, not posting videos anymore. The experiment is over. The media stopped promoting them. The media stopped pushing them. If we go to like maybe their most recent video, it's only got 500,000 views. And most of these are making fun of them. All eyes on Rafah, so Palestine post. Brother, looks great, sir. Like sir, you look amazing. All eyes on Rafah. So like every post in here is pro-Palestinian. The left eating themselves is so predictable. Like and it's so hilarious that I'm just so happy that it's happening right now, because it's a great time. It's a great time because I think the left has been running wild for far too long. And the fact that they're collapsing now over this Israel-Palestine stuff has been amazing to watch.
Okay, you saw that, right? Well, you could say that old Dylan hooked his star, or I should say hooked his wagon to the wrong star. Yep. And the stupid thing is, these damn radical leftists, these wokesters that he's been catering to, there's no placating those people. I mean, anyone who knows anything about these cultural Marxists running around in the present day know that these people, they're always trying to up the ante. Trying to say, oh, you think you're woke? Well, I'm more woke than you because I use stupid pronouns in my bio. And they say, oh, someone says, oh, that's nothing. I use the actual phrase like, when next, I don't even know half these stupid woke terms anymore, like when nexum or Latin X, stuff like that. And then you say, well, who cares what happens to old Dylan? He buttered his bread, now he has to lie in it. And I would say, yeah, he does. But you have to say that in the case of Dylan, he's a special case. Because the guy, he ain't woke. He's not even trans. Indeed, I think I probably mentioned this in a previous video, because old Tim Pool, he did the homework on that clown. And he found out that old Dylan, he's a failed actor. That supposedly back in the past, 10, 20 years ago, he was trying to be a stage actor. Problem is, he's no Olivier, okay? I mean, hell, he's not even John Gielgud. And yet he craved for the limelight, craved for attention. And I think, I don't know if you ever saw it, but there's an old video of him, I think from like over a decade ago, where he was on The Price is Right. and acting a fool, acting like a Looney Tune. Why? I have no idea. I guess he was trying to say, look at me, Ma. I'm on top of the world. Did he win the contest? I think he did win. I don't think he won the big prize, but I think he did win something. Because I used to be pretty good with that show, The Price is Right. Back when I was a much younger person, I used to watch it. And you know what? I was really good at it. I was able to guess the prices pretty good. And indeed, when I was a teenager, I actually ended up on the show. No, not on stage, but I remember going up there with my Aunt Margaret. And this was around 1980, I think it was. Yeah. And she was allowed to go on stage, but because, me and my brother, we were, not adults, we weren't allowed to. So there you go. But yeah, I'm familiar with that show. But I would never act a fool the way Dylan did. And then, of course, Tim Pool said that Dylan discovered TikTok and was making videos, except he wasn't getting any traction. And then one day he declared, "Oh, I'm gay," and then he had a spike in views. And then he said, "I'm trans," and then he had a huge spike in views. I think Tim said he had over 1 million views in one go. And I guess from that point on, Dylan, who was craving for attention, he said, "You know what? I'm going to ride this horse and see where it takes me." And he did. And it took him to the White House. And you say, wait, what? Yeah. There's a video of him in the White House in a dress talking to old Sleepy Joe. Now, did Sleepy Joe know that Dylan was not a woman? Sleepy Joe sometimes doesn't know that he is Sleepy Joe from one day to the next. So I'm probably guessing no. And then, of course, you probably saw old Dylan on Drew Barrymore's TV show. And I was surprised that Drew Barrymore even had a TV show, but there you go. And did Drew Barrymore know that he's not trans? I don't know. But I know she may have fooled herself, practically getting on her hands and knees in front of him, like she's practically worshiping him. And I'm thinking, girl, get off your fucking knees. But it looks like the gravy train has finally ran out for old Dylan. Yep. So what happens to him now? I guess he goes back into obscurity. All because he didn't post any videos about Palestine. Well, that should have told the wokesters right away that he's not really part of their fun club. Otherwise, he would have shaved his hair mostly off and then painted the damn rainbow colors on what was on the peach fuzz on his head, like some of these really crazy wokesters have done. And I think you've probably seen those videos on TikTok where these people look like goddamn circus freaks. Because I have to concede, even though old Dylan is a grifter, at least he tries to be presentable. I'm not saying that he looks good as a fake woman. Nope, I ain't going that far. Because believe me, I actually seen some female impersonators, and they are actually way better than Dylan. Just saying. In fact, there's this film from the 1970s called Freebie and the Bean with Alan Arkin and James Caan. You should look it up sometime. It's a crime drama, but it's also a buddy comedy, for buddy comedies were a thing. And part of the subplot involves a character who, wait for it, you ready? through most of the film, you think is a woman. But then near the climax of the film, James Caan, tries to arrest the character and grabs their hair and then rips off their wig. And at that point he realized, wait, what? And then he realized all that time that person he thought was a woman was actually a guy in drag. No joke. And then, of course, the clown proceeds to beat the crap out of James Caan because this character, not only was he a female impersonator, he also knew karate. Hilarious scene. Like I said, hilarious movie. The whole movie was nuts, but yeah. But in the case of old Dylan, yeah, he's not even a good female impersonator. He just isn't. He's not a good actor. He's not a female impersonator. He's definitely not woke. And he definitely ain't trans either. The guy is just a pathetic soul. I mean, all the guy ever wanted to was to be famous. And for a brief period, hey, he got his wish. He became famous. And then, of course, he did that stupid thing with Bud Light. And I guess that was beginning the end of the grift for him. Yep. So, I guess within a few years from now, maybe a full decade from now, if you mention the phrase Dylan Mulvaney, people say, Dylan who? They say, you mean like Dylan Thomas or Bob Dylan? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Old Dylan, he's going to end up on the dung heap of history of a bunch of would-be, could-be wannabes. Yep. Well, I guess he's going to have to find a new line of work, I suppose. Probably something, quiet, non-controversial. Like landscaping, or perhaps undertaking. Yeah, that's a nice quiet job. They get paid pretty well too. Well, that's all I have to say about old Dylan and his downfall. And that's my opinion.